Okay, this workout today, guys, I'm going to take you through a shoulder and ab routine. When I start shoulders, and I always recommend that everyone gets into some rotation work. What we want to try and do here is warm up our rotator cuff, which is quite a common area to get injured when you're you're doing any pressing moves. As I said, today is more of a push day, so chest, shoulders, triceps. They're all your push muscles, and it's also really important to sort of get to know, what moves do what. So I always start off with some rotation, just some light dumbbells, making sure I'm getting that rotator nice and warm before I press anything a little bit heavier. And in today's workout, I am looking at doing a little bit of military press strength work, so just lower reps. I take my time warming up my shoulders because it is a part that I have injured before playing football, and I've just got to work around what injuries I've had. I always like to put my body on the line when it comes to anything that I'm doing physically, whether it be football or training in the gym. So I like to warm up with the rotation moves, get a couple of light press moves going in, and then usually grab the 5 kilo plates or 5 kilo dumbbells and just warm up all heads of your shoulders. So I do some lateral raises, some rear delt flies, front raises, and upright rows, just to get all heads of those shoulders nice and warm, get that little bit of a pump on. Remember, when you're at this stage of the workout too, it's not a bad thing to have a chat to a couple of guys in the gym. If you do see a couple of mates there, you actually haven't started working yet, you're just warming up, so if you have to have that little chat, take your headphones off, have that bit of a chat, have that social time. But when it's time to get into it, guys, no phones, put those headphones on and get ready to go to war. So I'm just doing seated military press to start off today. Like, obviously you want to start off your workouts with that compound sort of lift, and this is one of your compound moves. Also deadlifts, squats, and bench press, as you know, are your compound moves. Compound moves are going to really boost your testosterone as a male, but they use multiple muscles. So that's what the compound move sort of means. And you'll learn about this in the education section, guys, of my members area. So I've pretty much really pre-exhausted those muscles big time today. So I use some of my warm-up sets to get some high reps in. And then I do like to go into some heavier sets straight away. So the way I do like to sit is with a bit of an arch in my back, and a lot of people will say not to do that, but I feel like all my back and my shoulders engage here instead of just my fronts as well. It's really important just to come down to your chin and then back up. So I'm just getting as many reps as I can here until I fail or close to failure. So I'm just sticking with about 2 to 7 reps, and anything in between that I'm pretty happy with, but I'm trying to stick with 6 to 4 in this workout. It's really important to overestimate yourself and try and do stuff that you don't think you could be able to do in the gym. And this is what I do all the time. You'll see me loading up more weight than I think I'm possibly able to lift, but I still bang it out no matter what. Even if I'm already failed, I'll go and put some extra weight on it, because So like I said, you've always got to go to war with your brain in the gym, and your brain is the only thing that's going to hold you back. Once you stay confident, you just tell yourself you can do it, you will do it. As you can see, guys, breathing is super important when you're training. A lot of people hold their breath and they don't get that oxygen into those muscles. So I'll come down to the failure point and just wrote down a negative towards the end. Doing heavy military presses is always it's always good to have that spotter. Because if you want to get those negatives out, then, you can get that spotter to lift you up out of the failure point, and then you can take that negative part down. So I'm always thinking ahead here of what I'm going to be doing next in my workout. I know what heads I've got to hit. Sometimes I'll mix them up a little bit. It's always important if you've got a routine and you haven't been training for a long time. It's always important to know that how to mix things up a little bit, and then you can go in the gym being a little bit more excited about your workout, and that's why we have all these training variations. This last set, muscles are pretty done. I'm taking a real slow tempo on the last couple of reps here, and then I come into a triple drop set. So pretty much failing 3 times, and as you know, and I've explained before, triple drop sets tear the deepest muscle fibers, and you literally have failed, and then you're picking up the weight and you're going again, and then you fail, pick up the weight, and you go again. The last few reps I really let my shoulders go and sort of dropped it on that side. That's fine. I was trying to ride those negatives a little bit slower. The way I see a set too in my head, like I say, concentric and eccentric and concentric moves, but up is power, down is strength, and that's the way I like to get into people's heads. So you got to push with that power and come down and hold with that strength. I finish off with a few partials here before I rack it up. Always use your good gym etiquette in the gym, putting the weights away, unless the whole gym is just left for myself, which it is my gym, so I'm happy I can leave weights around, I can tidy up afterwards. We have some amazing members here at Body Beyond Limits and a whole wall of transformations. Funnily enough, a lot of females more than males before I started Michael O'Sullivan Fitness. Coming into my second move for this workout, I'm hitting seated rear delt flies. So this, I find it really hits the upper part of your rear delt. So I've decided to superset this with the dumbbell rear delt flies. Probably one of my favorite muscle groups to hit, because it obviously is that back part of your shoulder, but it also gives you that big back look. So I pretty much go to the 2 reps before failure here, and I'll have, as you know, as I've told you before, you've always got to have that bit of a extra rest when you're supersetting. You've got to save up that ATP energy, get ready to smash it out again. Because I'm supersetting the same muscle group, it's totally fine, because I'm hitting him in 2 different angles. But because I'm supersetting, I'm only going to do 3 sets here. It's really important not to take that tension off at the front. Try and hold that tension at the front when you're doing the seated rear delt flies. probably one of my favorite moves in the gym. It does look like you're working your back a bit, but you got to keep your elbows high and really squeeze those delts when you come up the top. We're coming into my last set here. And rear delts are pretty much done. Probably rear delts are probably one of my stronger parts of my shoulders. Everyone's got different genetics, and I do like training them. You do see your rear delts getting fired up when you're training your back as well, when you get into that failure point and start seeing the rear delts take over a little bit. Pretty much went to that failure point on here, guys, and I did a quick rest pause, and then I picked them up and I just got another few reps in, and that's what it's all about. Just chuck those dumbbells down when I'm done. Just remember, when you're training, guys, you know, if you were to stop then when it gets hard, you're not going to get those extra 5 or 1,000 reps out during the year, which is going to, you know, have you seeing better results in your body. So coming into my next move, I'm going to do the fronts of the shoulder, and I've planned to do plate raises. You really want to see those veins popping out in those shoulders when you're doing it. It's good to keep a slight bend in your elbows, but make sure you're lifting with the front of those shoulders. Okay, and hold it for 1 second up the top, and then let it come down. So I'm doing about 10 reps with the 20 plate here. When you start contracting and really using your muscles, you're going to feel another whole world of pain, guys, and that's what you got to do. Sometimes when you're in a set, guys, like, you've actually got to not look forward to doing it. You've got to really go, you know, shit, I don't want to do this, but you just got to make it happen, and that's when you start going to war with your brain. So I'm trying to hold off from going to failure on my second working set, because I have planned a triple drop set with all those other plates there for this workout. Front delts are a very common injury point for men, especially men that like to come in and try and lift, you know, 150 kilos on the bench press and push, you know, 50 kilos on the shoulder presses. I mean, I'm not really into lifting as heavy now. I want to stay fit. You know, I wanna make sure I'm doing everything correctly as well. So I'm coming into last set here, which will lead into a triple drop set. I'm absolutely in pain there on the front of the shoulders. Just got to make sure that plate comes up above your head if you can. So I'm just going down by 5 kilos here. So it's still pretty heavy weight for front raises. And in my head, I'm going to try and get out at least 10 if I can, 7 to 10. Every time I do a triple drop set, 10 is the number I want to keep in my head. Unless I'm doing high rep training, so 15 or 20. This absolutely burns the shoulders, guys. So this last set, I've tried to ride the negatives and really just push past that point of failure. It's only a 10 kilo plate, but it feels like it's 50 kilos. Remember, guys, when you're in the gym, it's really important to, when you're training your shoulders or training your arms or training your back, the next day you can't go back and train it again, or that week it's on your training split that week. So you've got to absolutely smash it. You've got to annihilate it. You've got to make sure that if you lift those arms up, you're going to feel those shoulders and those arms and that back a couple of days later. This move, guys, is a great move for your flies. It's just a different alternative way of doing it. As you can see, I put a 5 kilo plate underneath my upper back just to get my scap and my shoulders off the ground so I can get a little bit more range of motion. But this really targets, it's just as good as doing a dumbbell lateral raise. But the good thing with this is you can hold a little bit of isometric tension, and there's tension on the way up and tension on the way down. Our first set was more of a primer warm-up set. At this stage of my workout, even though I did that triple drop set, I felt like I didn't hit the front of my shoulders properly. So I went to grab the 15 kilo to do some plate sit-ups, because I know they'll work the front of the shoulders and just warm up my abs a little bit. Not that I get many in before my actual front of the shoulders fail on me. When you're doing the line cable lateral raises, guys, you've got to make sure those hands come up above your head, and try and really hold and squeeze that top part where the muscle's working. I'm using this more to hit the front of those shoulders a little bit, because I didn't feel like I got them done, but they quickly went to that failure point straight away. It is an area where I tried to strengthen up because I've had injuries with the fronts of my shoulder. As you can see, with that plate underneath my upper back, it gets that scap off the ground and just makes you have that little bit of extra range of motion, which is going to target the side of the shoulders, and that's exactly what I want. Second set, I hold this isometric for about 10 seconds, and then I pump out a few like partial reps. When I'm training like a muscle group, I'll chuck in one ab move, say 3 times a week. Today I'm going to be doing some cable crunches towards the end. This is Body Beyond Limits in Cameron Park, built from a backyard boot camp in 2012 into a gym, about 900 to 1,000 members now. Awesome atmosphere, great people. I'm coming into another working set, and I come straight up into an isometric as soon as I fail. And you can actually see my muscles are shaking. My central nervous system is going, no, I have nothing left. I hold it for a bit and then do a couple more partial reps past the point of failure. There's not many warriors that I see in the gym sometimes that actually push themselves to failure. You know, it's quite easy to walk around for 5 minutes and chat, and then push some heavy weight, and then walk around for 5 minutes and chat. But it's harder to do this sort of stuff because you're really depleting all those muscles of glycogen. You're pushing your mind to the limit. You're doing things that you don't think you possibly could do. and that's what makes us stronger, guys. Sort of G'ing myself up for the last set here, but Body Beyond Limits Gym is designed for people that are new to fitness. We don't have any egos, there's no wankers. We have 150 kilo ladies on the treadmill. We've had people I've trained on the Carl Stefanovic show this time next year, lost like 90 kilos in 1 year and transformed their life. So that's what all the photos up on the wall there. So coming into another set, holding that isometric, it absolutely burns, guys, because that's the contraction part of the workout. And then I'm coming into a triple drop set just to annihilate those muscles. I always tell people to, like, when it comes down to training, you've got to look after your energy system, and that's your sleep. Making sure you're getting adequate sleep, 6 to 8 hours, hopefully 8 hours a night, and also making sure you're getting that food, like protein, in your body every 2 or 3 hours to help you with protein synthesis and muscle recovery and muscle growth. So on this last set, I do a drop set. I do a triple drop set, but I also hold an isometric for 10 seconds. And you don't need heavy weight to do this. Your triple drop sets, they're pretty much hitting the deep muscle fibers. And by the last set on a triple drop set, you should always feel like you've got nothing left, and you just got to keep on going. Just remember here, guys, your mind is your only limit. And I will remind you here, this is where I don't want to be, but I push myself again to get to that isometric and then do those partial reps at the top, the hardest part of the workout. Muscles feel like they're going to fall off the bone at the moment. So always good to have gym etiquette, guys, and put your weights away. Use towels on the machines. So I'm coming in to finish this workout today by doing some tricep ab work, tricep ab crunches. I sort of wanted to do this to teach you guys a little bit about how abs and core are actually two different things. When someone says you're training your core, you're training your abs, some people think it's the same thing, but it's actually not. So when you're doing this move, guys, it's important to really drive those elbows right past the knees if you can, and really contract your belly. It doesn't matter how it looks like. You want to try and get a stretch up the top, stretch those abs out, and then contract them down the bottom. It looks like I'm using my back here a little bit more, but I'm making sure I'm getting more of that contraction on my abs. Like I said, everyone's got different ways of doing stuff, but you've got to just know the basis and know a little bit about your body. If you feel that in your back and not your abs, then you know you're doing it wrong. So I'm doing a good warm up of about 25 reps here. And then I come straight into a plank. So when it comes to abs, guys, like your leg lifts, bikes, cable crunches, weighted sit-ups, they're all going to work your abs. But when it comes to core, this is what works your core, guys. So holding those isometric moves. Isometrics also are like wall sitting, V-sits, just stuff that you pretty much hold. So this is a killer of a little ab routine. It doesn't take long. And if time is of the essence and you're a busy dad, or you've only got that hour or so to train in the gym, you've got to hit things as quickly as you can and make sure they're going to be done. And this is where this sort of routine comes in handy. So make sure you feel the stretch. As soon as you start to feel the stretch, contract. Make sure you squeeze that belly, hold it. You want to be waking up the next couple of days out of bed and feel like you can't even sit up. Starting off an ab routine like this is also good. A little tip for like when you're training deads or squats, because you really want to activate your core and have your core switched on before you start any of this. And doing your abs before your weight session, if you find you don't get your weights in, is a totally fine choice to make. And I do tell a lot of people that skip abs, just start your abs at the start of your session. Get them done and then go do your weights, because it's also going to benefit you by having a switched on core, especially if you're doing moves like planking, side planks and stuff like that. So by about your third working set, you want to feel like you've basically got nothing left. And look, there might be a bit of swinging, and like you can see my bum coming back a little bit more, and maybe my back taking over. But I have put a heavier weight on, and I am contracting my belly. I'm making sure I'm getting that contraction on. Got to the failure point there, which is fine. Planking is one of those moves where you got to go to war with your brain. Sit there and think about something that you want to achieve. Like, don't think about the pain. It's the same with all of training. You got to distract your brain and think about something that you want to achieve. It's something that I always do to fire me up. So I'm coming close to the end of this workout here. And I'll just explain that logo there, Body Beyond Limits, the bar and the heartbeat. It's what I truly believe. The fitness networks I've set up at Body Beyond Limits and Michael O'Sullivan Fitness, I want it to be a community, and we generally all like share the same heartbeat. We all work together, we all support each other. If someone falls down, we pick them up. We don't put people down, we only pick them up, and that's one of my major rules. So I'm coming into the last sort of set here, and I've decided to do a triple drop set. I've done about 10 heavy, so like I said on my triple drop sets, I go 10, 10 and 10. It is super important that, you create a great person out of yourself, not only lose the weight, because I've seen it happen so many times with the hundreds of people I've transformed. They've changed their weight and their body, but they've never actually changed their mind or that person that they used to be. So that is one of the first things I want my guys to do. That guys that have weight to lose, to battle those demons and don't let them come up again. Things do come up in life and challenge you, but you've got to keep on going. At this phase of this workout, I'm actually sitting in a lockdown from coronavirus in 2019. In May 23rd, we got told to close the gym down, so I had no revenue coming in. I had nothing, so I decided to, to push my online stuff, and that's what I'm doing around this stage of my life, and I'm absolutely depleted. Haven't been sleeping as well. I probably haven't been, I have been eating, but not getting the best sleep. A little bit more stress, a little bit more cortisol build up. But when times get tough, guys, and it's like a workout, you've got to just dig deep, and you've got to find that other warrior, because you don't want to get to the end of something hard and realize you didn't try your best to fight it, to get through it. So like I said, everyone, it's like when you're training, it's like walking through a path of fire. You can walk through that fire and turn into ashes and pick yourself back up and try and do those other sets, or you can be a warrior and just dust yourself off and keep on going. But that's a wrap, guys.